we might all be wrong, that we've been wrong many times before, and we'll be wrong many times again in the future. Perhaps we shouldn't enter this conversation with such certainty, but with a degree of openness that the people we disagree with might be right. And better yet, we might find a common truth between us if we approach one another with open hearts, not with naivety and stupidity, with open hearts and a kind of reluctance to yield to our own inner dogma and the simplifying comfort that it gives you to just think, well, I'm right, they're all bad actors, disinformation, misinformation. That's no way to run a country. That's not even the way to run one mind.
So the title of this talk is One Genius versus 1 Million Half-wits. And this is the foundational thought you have to have when considering monarchy versus democracy. What is intelligence? How do you define intelligence? How do you define truth? Is one genius closer to the truth than 1 million half-wits? How do you determine the truth? And more importantly, what about focus? What about clarity? Is one mind more focused and clear than 1 million half-wits? And when determining the law of a country, don't you want clarity? Don't you want focus? Something that we often consider applies to intelligence is compounding strength. So if you have 10 men carrying something, you're 10 times stronger than one man. If you have 10 men funding a project, you have 10 times more funding than one man. But does this apply to intelligence? Does this apply to thought? I would obviously say no. I think it's very clear that this does not apply to thought, because you cannot combine the strength of minds. You cannot combine the intellectual or creative capacity of minds, especially when you're not talking about writing a single document or working on a single project. When creating something like arcology or creating something like Starship, some complex creative engineering process, what you do is you split up that vehicle or that city into groups, into pieces, and then individual creative minds, individual geniuses work on those pieces and develop those pieces, and then combine them into one whole and attach them into one whole. This is the whole point of cellular construction. This is the whole point of modular construction. Each hexagon is kind of its own separate entity, and it combines itself into the whole, right? Out of many, one. But the creative process still remains a work of the individual mind, both in constructing Starship and also constructing arcology. Everything, all thought exists within an individual mind. You cannot multiply the power of the mind just by adding people from the crowd, right? So what I'm trying to say is 1 billion human beings are not 1,000 times closer to the truth than 1 million human beings. 1 billion human beings can have 1,000 times the wealth, 1,000 times the ability to create as an individual, but they don't have 1,000 times the influence, because they're not, they're all competing on a level playing field as individual minds, as individuals. So this paradox comes to the conclusion that one individual mind can easily be more influential and closer to the truth than 1 million half-wits working together. Or in their minds, they have the illusion of working together, don't they? This is what democracy is. It's the illusion that we're all working together when nothing could be further from the truth. We're all fighting each other. We're all combative with each other. We're all hateful towards each other. All this division, all this left versus right, this party politics, that is the opposite of working together. We're not even close to working together. And the irony of the situation, the profound absurdity of the situation, is that under a monarchist system, the monarch could actually unify the population compared to democracy, and bring everyone together, and through our ecology, through the social contract, truly make everyone cooperative and truly make everyone a co-creator of our collective reality, because he is allowing the individual to be free. In democracy, the individual is never free. The individual is subverted and submissive to this vague mob, this vague, angry mob of 100 million half-wits that are always screaming at each other. And you're always living in fear of a bunch of half-wits screaming in your face because you're trying to manifest a better reality. To embrace the power of the individual mind, of the genius mind, is to free yourself from this mob. And once the individual truly frees himself intellectually and spiritually, he is fully able to create new worlds within his individual mind and share those worlds with the rest of humanity. And then those worlds can become reality if they follow the laws of physics. And that's the only requirement that truly needs to be met. There is no other requirement. Everything else is a social construct of the half-wit mob, the angry, ignorant half-wit mob, which rules the democratic system and which needs to be ignored and destroyed. Only then can we create and enjoy God's kingdom. Thy will be done. Anyway, that's it for this one, and remember, a single dream is more powerful than 1,000 realities.